I mean, you literally took down a restaurant chain.
Yeah. I know. I'm crazy.
You want to get the calendar changed while you're at it? It sounds like that's the next thing on your docket.
Yes. I think the calendar, I don't know. I do have a video about how they were planning on changing the calendar again. And I made a video and everybody's like, no, we're not changing the calendar again. And I was like, well, we could just get rid of the calendar.
Sounds like you need to push it. We got to get that 1320. Who's going to do it? I feel like it's you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, that's
what I feel like, is you're the one who's going to cultivate that to happen.
Oh, I'm like, all right, guys, I'm back. I am because
you're that spark that's going to get the whole 1320 thing happening.
Yeah, I'm already doing it, like, just by being myself. Now I just got to get everybody on board. I literally collect calendars. I have been writing in my calendar since I was in 6th grade, everything that I do every day. And I also have clocks on my wall because, like, I've always been into, like, clocks and calendars. And I'm like, oh, this is my mission. Like, I meant to kill the perception of time for people because time is not real. It really is not.
Yep. Yeah.
I know.
Talk to the guys about making this video. I want to see a 40 million view video about why we should shift to the 1320 frequency of time.
I know.
I'm ready for it. I think you got it in you.
Well, I'm already doing it. I
think you got it in you.
I'm already doing it. This is the problem, is that people think that it can't happen yet. Like, no, more things have to happen. Why? Just jump into it. Skip ahead. Like, people think like, oh, I have to. This is what a tesseract is. So instead of you going across the bridge, I keep hitting the mic. If instead of you going across the bridge from point A to point B, you literally do this. Damn it. I'm sorry. You literally just do this. And then you just create a tesseract.
Give yourself a mic stand.
I know. Well, I actually do have a mic stand. But I just keep hitting it.
It needs to be a bigger one.
But you literally just go boop. And so you brought it to you. So that's what we're doing right now, is we're just bringing all of this to us. And, like, this is why all the planets are aligned. The poles shifted. I mean, it's happening. It's already here. We are the only ones thinking it's not here yet. We're the only ones prolonging the inevitable. It already happened. Just live like it already happened. Like, I'm like, we're not going to pay taxes. We're not going to pay taxes. Yeah, I'm not paying taxes because I haven't literally made any money off I haven't made any money off, like, what I'm doing for a year. I'm just like, what am I going to do? I can't claim anything. Be
careful about saying that on a podcast.
No, because I'm like, I'm saying, like, I do believe that taxes will eventually go away because, like, why are we paying taxes? Like, what are they using that money for? Weird shit. So,
they can just print all the money they want. My big thing is they can print all the money they want. So why do we pay taxes?
Well, this is the thing that really gets people down, is debt. People are like, oh my God, I have debt. And I'm like, debt is not real. Debt was invented in 1989. The country is $33 trillion in debt, and the stocks are just trading debt. So you are literally, you're stressing out over numbers in a computer that are not real. If every single person paid off all of their student loans, we would have no money in circulation right now. So it benefits everybody to be in debt than just be in debt. I mean, I'm not in debt. Well, I am in student loan debt, but I actually paid $15,000. I paid $15,000 for a student loan. I paid $20,000 on a $15,000 student loan, and they still want me to pay $15,000 on interest. And I'm like, that's between you and God, baby. Not doing that. Because I'm like, I already paid $15,000. Y'all are insane. Like, why is the interest rate so fucking high? So they really just fucked millennials over on that shit. So at this point, the country and everything is going to shit. Just live your life. Live your best life. Like, have fun. Who cares?
Time is art. Time is art.
Do you understand that, like, millionaires and billionaires don't actually have that money, like, in hand? Like, they literally just have, it's like fake money. It's just fake money that they're just using. Like, why are we they literally gaslit us to believe that.
It's usually in companies. It's usually in companies. But yeah, to your point, most people think that they're just sitting on billions of dollars.
Yeah, like, they're not, it's not tangible. I mean, it's not tangible like actual dollars. It's tangible in other things or whatever. Anyways, we really have to just stop caring about money. Like, the 1260 thing, that's what it is. We're worshiping money. So right now our God is money, and we got to get over that.
Well, I think then the question becomes is, how do we shift into a 1320 frequency, right? Like, how do we shift time into that?
You start with yourself.
Start embodying the 1320.
Well, you start with yourself, and a lot of people already are. Like, you're doing it by having, this you right now are working for yourself. You're not clocking in, clocking out for someone else. You have to start with yourself, like
True.
essentially unplugging from the matrix. So it's okay, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start my own business. Yeah, we still have bills to pay, but eventually I literally was telling my sister, I'm like, eventually the people will retaliate. Like, because we're all people and we're noticing that this is literally insane, like the economy we're living in and the inflation. And eventually people are just going to retaliate, or we're just going to stop caring about money because it's like, okay, well, whatever. Like, and then you start your art, like you make your own business out of your art, and then you just stop caring about like, I'm like, I haven't had a job for a year. I'm like, how are people how are people still clocking in and out to normal jobs? It's crazy to me.
It's got to be difficult. It's got to be difficult. It is an interesting thing you bring up though about like money, because I know me personally, it was kind of like a big thing that I was dealing with, if you will, which was the fear of not having enough money to support running this podcast. And it came to this point where I had all this money saved up from my job, and I started approaching the end of it literally like last week or like a week and a half ago. And I had this meditation slash conversation, if you will, with God. And I was basically like, look, I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to start going into debt soon. Like, if this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing, fucking pull me out of it, you know, basically. And I got a ping, like kind of like this internal notification, if you will, that I was supposed to buy the mic that you see here now and buy all this kind of like integrated software that came out to enough money that was going to kind of put me behind the 8 ball. And as I bought that, the next 2 days were filled with somebody came up to me or someone emailed me about wanting to work with me one-on-one as a mentor, which I don't even offer. I had then a second person email me about it 2 days later. I had this thing with my gym. Like I train jujitsu, and I've been trying to be a coach there for like the last 4 months. And in the last week, I've already taught twice, and everything just unfolded so quickly. Like I
Yeah.
met the guy who was actually doing it. Like I had the right intel. And so all of this to say, right, it's very much just taking care of itself. As long as I just show up, keep recording. And I suppose there's something with spending money at least a little bit wisely.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like at least not just fucking buying lottery tickets, like $1,000 worth of lottery tickets. I'm actually like buying shit to help my voice get out there, help this podcast grow. It's higher quality, you know what I mean? As opposed to, oh, here's $1 million in lottery tickets. I'll just take that in, you know, I'll take the debt in that. It's like, no, that's not how you should be utilizing that energy.
Right. No, yeah, I agree.
It's really crazy. It's really been crazy.
No, but that's literally what I just said, where I was like, where you show the universe that you're down for it, and the universe will just like match your energy. And that's literally like, when I'm like, you guys enjoy life, it's like, okay, take the vacation. Like, what are you waiting for? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'll take it when when you retire. Well, are you ever going to retire? I mean, let's be for real. Like, if you're going to keep down this road, take the trip, you know, go to the restaurant, buy the thing you want. Obviously, I mean, we're adults here. I shouldn't have to tell people to spend responsibly. Like, come on, like use your head. But it's true. Like when you just put it out there, like I was like shopping the other day and I was like, me shop? I hate shopping. But it was like I got this energy of like, go spend money so that I can make money, because I wasn't going out. I wasn't spending any money at all. And not because I was like, oh no, I need to I need to save. I mean, yeah, I need to save, but I was like, but I just like, I don't like to shop, and I haven't been going out to eat with anybody. I've just been at home cooking and just being by myself. And the universe was like, you have to get out and spend money because you need to get it back. And so I was like, okay. So I just went and like bought things, and I was like, I don't really need these things, but like the universe is telling me that I have to spend money right now to show that I'm not scared to spend it. And then it's going to come back. And like the same thing happened to me. Somebody reached out and was like, oh, can we do a one-on-one? And I was like, I don't even offer that. And they're like, no, I literally saw it on your pages. And I was like, I don't, you must have looked into another timeline, but thank you. Now I'm going to start doing one-on-ones. And so then that got that started.
Love the synchronicity.
Yeah, dude. It's crazy.
Was this like a week ago? Did that happen to you like a week ago?
The first, I have, it's my pinned post on Instagram when I literally was like, I have my first one-on-one. It wasn't a week ago, but it was like a couple weeks ago. Let me see what the date on it is.
I was just curious. It would have been crazy if it was like at the same exact time that
June 15th.
Like that person DM'd us. June 15th. Okay.
Yeah. And the person who DM'd me, her name was Genesis, and I was like, "Oh, girl, you are giving me a sign like Genesis. Like this is my new beginning."
No way.
Yeah, right. I was like, "Oh, girl, you just started a whole new thing for me."
No. Oh my gosh! If a sign was any louder,
for real,
if a sign could be any louder, it would be that.
Yeah, the universe is very loud with me. I love it. And then I get mad. Listen. Well, I get mad at myself because I literally just watched a video of somebody on TikTok that was like me stressing over how am I going to transfer my audience over to YouTube from TikTok. And then it's like a picture of his younger self being like, you have an audience? And I'm like, I have to remind myself of how far I've come, because it's like we're constantly looking to like, what's next? What's the next goal? What's the next goal? It's like, can we enjoy the goal that like 3 years ago, I never thought I would have 1 million on TikTok. Like, what? And now I'm like, oh my God, what's next? Like, what do I do? What do I do? Like, I need to do, it's like, girl, can you enjoy the fact that like younger you, 2013 you, and the shit customers like say to servers never would have imagined that you would be here now. So like, why don't you give yourself a minute to enjoy the shit you've done instead of stressing about the next thing? Like, we never take a minute to just look back and be like, hey, you've done this. You will be okay. Like, okay, I did it. Right. Like, chill out.
That's so powerful anytime you're feeling depression or anxiety, is to come back to like looking at the things that you've already accomplished in life and being like, oh, this is easier than all that. Well, what am I worried about? Like, there's nothing here for me to be feeling anxious or sorry about.
That's what I think about all the time. I think about like, I'm like, okay, I've already been through the hardest that it's going to get because I'm now aware. Now that I'm aware and I know how to navigate the situation and I know what choices I need to make because I've already made the mistake in the past. Like we said, nobody's perfect. Okay, I made the mistake in the past. Well, the situations will keep presenting themselves to you until you choose to make a different choice than the last time. So like your ex could keep coming back to you and you just keep going back to them until you finally say, okay, I'm not going to. You have to make the decision to move because the universe is going to keep like, well, I guess she likes that. So let's just keep sending her that until you say, no, I don't like that. And then you shift it. And so that's literally what it is. It's like whenever I get sad or whatever, I'm like, okay, let's think about how far you have come. Like never in my life I would think I would be doing any of this, like living. I always wanted to live in California. I was like, now I'm living in California. Like I'm like, never that I think I would have no contact with my parents. Like, what? Who am I? I'm a whole different person. And it's like, I forget.
Where are you at in Cali?
San Diego.
Oh, no way. I lived there for 4 years. I love that.
Oh, truly?
Yeah. San Diego's sick.
Do you miss it?
Do you know, oh my gosh, you should, let me introduce you to, do you know who Erin Lyons is?
No.
Do you know who that is? You don't know who that is? That's okay if you don't know. I want to introduce you though. She just moved to San Diego.
What'd she do?
She was on the podcast, so you should check out that. You should check out episode 062, I think.
Oh, wait.
With Erin Lyons.
Is she the Asian girl?
No, she's African American.
Oh, I was looking at one of the girls you had on.
We talked about The Little Mermaid.
Ah, I love The Little Mermaid. She was my favorite.
062. She has a pretty dope perspective on it.
On what?
Because we were talking about like racism and on The Little Mermaid, the Black Little Mermaid.
Oh.
We were talking about if it was racist or not. She's super dope. I'll check out her stuff and let me know. I'll put you in contact.
Oh, here she is.
She does like channeling and light work.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think you guys would be a vibe together.
Oh, I love that.
Who's the connector now?
Yes.
Who's the connector now? Good.
Doing your job as a generator. Good job. Fulfilling your role.
I'm here for.
I did want to say I was looking at your Instagram because I was like, oh, let me look through some of like the podcast stuff or whatever. And I see you always are wearing, well, not always, but a lot of the clothes you're wearing these like orange sunglasses. And I was like, I feel like I should wear my sunglasses. Yeah. So I do have my sunglasses because I was like, oh, in case he's wearing his sunglasses, I'm going to bring my sunglasses.
You brought them just in case?
Yeah, just in case. Because I was like, well, I got to match the vibe. Well,
I
I think
like it, but there's a portion of me whenever I watch videos back that it reflects too much. It reflects too much of the screen, so you can't see
oh, for
my
sure.
eyes, and so I feel like there's a level of like making you comfortable with it, and then making anybody who's watching it comfortable. Versus if you're just getting like the pure reflection, you're gonna be like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" So
Well, what was
I made
your
a business decision.
what was your business decision before? Like, why did you have them on?
Oh, they're blue light blockers.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you were just like, they're just
Yeah,
cool.
and well, that too. It was a combination of both.
That's what you're gonna
We got a
say.
lot
You're
of
like, and I
compliments.
think they're cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's
There was a
better to
practical and then
not.
there was an emotional.
Yeah. Well, I think it's better to not have them on because yeah, it
Yeah,
does reflect and it does hide.
I put I put a ton I put a ton of research into finding or trying to find like anti-glare cream or an anti-glare version of those glasses, because like if I could wear those and you could see my eyes, I would probably still be wearing them, but just it was too much reflection from like the ring light and the screen where I was just like I just can't, I couldn't find anything. So anybody listening, if you have if you can find a pair of aviators that are orange tint with blue light blockers and anti-glare, hit me up. I'll pay top dollar for them.
Oh, you're like, I
It's a
really want to
quick
wear
plug for
these.
myself.
I just really
Yeah.
want to wear them on my podcast.
Yeah. If there's any sunglass creators listening to this podcast, that one's for
That's
you.
funny.
Or for me. I guess for both of us.
Yeah.
Mutual creation.
Reach out. Sponsor me.
No, sponsor. I will sponsor. I will sponsor your sunglasses.
Yeah.
And it'll cost you just one pair. But yeah, I think there's I want to get back to that 1320 thing because
Mm-hmm.
because that's really how I've been viewing life. I highly recommend, if you haven't heard of Rick Rubin, I've been diving into so much of his stuff. He created like he was a producer on a bunch of very, very well-known music from like the Strokes to Dr. Dre. I don't know if he worked with Dr. Dre. Let me take that back. To like to Kanye, I think. He's worked with just very well-known musicians, and he's so much like in this creative energy of like trying new things, and he's got a book that's so great. And I'm bringing this all up because like we just discovered that we're shifting into time as art. I've been pursuing so much more just like I need to just create stuff. Like don't worry about money, just start creating stuff. Just
Exactly.
create stuff, put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Create stuff, put it out there. All right,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. If it got one view, it doesn't matter. It needed to be created. All right, create stuff, put it out there. And it's so freeing, and it's so empowering. I've noticed that I just love it. I love that. I love that
Yeah.
feeling. And this is just resonating to my core that time is now art.
Yeah. And it really is all about letting go. Letting go and knowing that like exactly what that article said, that like everything is happening exactly when it's supposed to happen. Everything is happening on time because time is an illusion. So you are not late to the game. You're like, I'm 36. And like I'm like when I was like 16, I was like, "Oh my god, I can't imagine being 36. Like that is so old." And now I'm like, I still feel like I'm 16 on the inside. Like I don't understand how people like, function as an adult. Like I'm like, you have like kids that you have to take care of. Like you're responsible for other lives. Like I could not imagine. I'm like, and now I'm like doing my, social media stuff, and I'm like, if people hear my age, they're like, "Oh my god, you're 36 and you're sitting here fucking doing social media stuff." And I'm like, yeah, who cares? Like, I don't want to follow the status quo. So I'm not like late to it. It's happening when it's supposed to happen. And had I blown up back in, 2012, like whenever that video went viral, like I probably would have said some very stupid shit on the internet because I don't have a filter. So I just say whatever. And so I would have gotten canceled a million times. I mean, I get canceled every day here, but I don't let myself. You can't get canceled unless you let yourself get canceled. And so I'm like, man, but I'm glad because like I watch the YouTubers now. Like, I don't know if you've heard about the whole Colleen Ballinger drama that's going on. I don't know if you know anything about YouTubers.
I have not.
Well, anyways,
I
oh
mean,
my
not
god,
her, I guess. What's her name? How do you spell it?
Colleen Colleen Ballinger
Okay.
Ballinger. It is
Actually, I feel like I've read
messy.
that name before.
Yeah, it's going
I
viral
feel like
right
I've read
now.
that name before.
because allegations came up about her
Facing
sending
backlash.
inappropriate messages to minors.
Ooh, grooming.
And she's been on YouTube for so long, and I'm like, God, I'm just so glad that I wasn't like a part of that crowd.
Yeah,
It's
that's a tricky situation. That's weird though. She's super cute.
Yeah, well, looks can be deceiving.
That's weird. That's fair. I don't judge a book by its cover, but I just feel like the man, the masculine male in me would say, hey, she's attractive. Why would she be going under grooming kids? But obviously I don't know anything at all that I'm saying here. So
well, it was pretty much that
I'm not trying to catch myself in water here. I don't want to come across as like, just because you're hot doesn't mean you can't groom. I'm trying to say that I feel like she wouldn't need to groom in order to be with a guy.
It's it's not exactly the way you're thinking of. What happened is that she has this platform that she's had forever, and her main target is children because she has a character named Miranda Sings, and it's just like a very awkward character that like thinks she can sing but she can't sing. But Colleen, the real person, like yes, she can sing, but so her audience is a lot of young people, and so she just became close to her followers and would text. They'd be in group chats together, but these are minors at the time, and there were just text messages that were released now of her talking in these group chats, like asking these minors like, what's your favorite sexual position, and like sending them underwear. And it was just like very weird things that she thought was funny, but like they're minors, and you're like, she's my age, so it's like she was like in her 20s sending this stuff to minors. So it was very weird, and she didn't think that it was weird. Like, and she's like, and now she came up with this quote unquote apology video of her singing on a ukulele saying like, I'm not going to apologize for the rumors that you're saying for clout. But there's like so much evidence of so many people coming forward of like, no, she literally was sending me these messages. We're not lying. And so it is just so messy right now. I'm like, oh my God, this is insanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because see, it's weird that the whatever you want to call it, the person who tries to look for the best in people wants to say, oh, she's a comedian, so she's trying to be funny. But I think whenever kids get involved, it's you got to be treading very lightly there with whatever you're talking to them about. Doesn't matter if it's politics, doesn't matter if you think you're being funny, doesn't matter if it's the way you view the world. That's when you start talking to kids, you gotta tread very lightly, especially if you're 36 years old. And yeah, it looks like mental abuse. Obviously I'm sure all these headlines are, I don't want to go read, I'm going to delete that so I don't read because I don't know if they're going to be true or not, but yeah, I think anything, I could see the defense of, oh, well, I'm a comedian, I'm trying to be funny, but when kids are involved, that's like a whole nother line that you're crossing.
Yeah, she just crossed a lot of boundaries. There's no like respect. And then she does a lot of live shows, and I guess she would like do things that people were like she had one girl lay on her stage and she was wearing a dress and like spread her legs open like on stage. It was very weird. She would do a lot of things that like she thought was funny, but like if you look at it from not a comedian standpoint of just like a person doing this to another person, it's like this is humiliating and weird. And this is like the thing that I was saying where I was like, comedians are really starting to cross the line where like they don't have boundaries. They're like, oh, it's a joke. But it's like, but the other person is humiliated by what you just did, you know? But then at the time,
I think it depends, right? It depends on if you're giving them permission. I think if you're like paying money, going to their show, yes. The tricky thing is though, is if you're like underage. I think that's where like, you know, because you can't give permission when you're underage. So like if you're buying a ticket to someone's show and you know them, like you get the general gist of who they are, you're buying into it. You're literally paying money for them to roast you, especially if it's like a smaller club, especially if it's like that smaller intimate atmosphere. I mean, and you always have the option to get up and walk out. You can argue for your money back, whatever. But I definitely think if you're playing it into it, like if you're telling them, hey, I already tried committing suicide. Like you like, in my opinion, you're giving them permission to make fun of you on that front.
Yeah, I think that in the moment, a lot of people like I think a lot of people in the moment are just like in that energy and are like, haha, it's so funny. And then like I think afterwards people start to look back and reflect and are like, okay, that was actually like kind of fucked up because like I actually did try to kill myself. Like, why would she tell me to kill myself? Like I actually really liked her as a comedian. And then she just like, and I get it that it was like part of the joke, but like, you know, when you meet someone, it's like your idol or whatever, your favorite star, or whatever, and they're just like rude to you and you're like, damn, like I had such a different perception. Like I've been to comedy shows and you know, the comedy shows I've been to, the comedians didn't heckle the audience like that. Like they weren't rude like that and put them down. And so I'm like, I think there is a fine line of like, you know, you have to remember that these are also people. And like, yeah, it's comedy and it's fun, but like people laugh at the moment at the joke. And then when you're the butt of the joke and you go home and you think about it, and you're like, wow, I just got embarrassed by my favorite comedian, like telling me to kill myself. And I get that to her, it was just a joke and I'm just a face in the audience. But like, this was the person that I love listening to every day. And like, now I just have a whole different viewpoint of this person. You know what I'm saying? It's like when everybody found out about Ellen DeGeneres and how like she treats her staff, everyone's like, okay, she's actually not the kindest person like she claims to be. So it just changes your perception of people. It's like you're a character on stage, but then like how you're treating people also plays into it, you know? Like I think we should take
Well,
that
I
into
think
consideration.
the environment's very. I think the environment is really again. It's difficult because not being the person who was there or hearing it or being, you know, a part of it. But I think the environment's very important. You know, if it's employees, like your threshold for comedy and sexual nature gets dimmed very quickly, especially because
Mm-hmm.
we're now talking about people's livelihoods, because that can trigger that fear response, that can trigger people to close up, that can trigger people to pull back and not want to engage anymore in the workplace. And on the like, I don't know. I mean, I guess we can't know unless that girl were to say something along the lines of, yeah, I got really sad after, you know, this happened, which I don't know. I mean, because you could very easily make the argument like, oh yeah, my favorite comedian made fun of me. Like,
Right.
I could see that as being a very valid thing that someone would enjoy.
I know. I think it really is. This is why all truths, all everybody's truth is true. Like this is a topic of discussion right now because I think she made a video saying how she felt like it was insensitive for her to tell her to go kill herself, though she may have been like joking around at the moment. She was like she didn't like that. And so now it's like a topic of discussion that people are saying like, oh, this comedian should apologize and blah blah blah.
Mm.
And it's hard because you really can't please everybody. Like you say, like somebody could say that to you and you're like, haha, okay, I'm not going to take it to heart. Like it's like me, like people literally told me to kill myself and I'm just like, okay, no, like I don't know you. What the fuck? Like I don't care about your opinion. And so, but there are content creators who have killed themselves because of the bullying that goes on online. And so that's it's hard. We really just have to take accountability ourselves. We really just have to look in the mirror and be like, okay, am I okay? Like, is this worth the joke? Like, I don't know if this person really has gone through something. Maybe I shouldn't make a joke about this, you know, like maybe it is a sensitive subject, like, because it's just I don't know. And it depends. It depends, like, you know, like you said, if people I don't know if that's her comedy. I don't know what this comedian was. I don't know if this is the kind of thing she normally says. So I don't know if this person walked into it and then now is like, oh, I can't believe she would say that, you know, like knowing that that was her humor. So I think it's like you said, like it's there's no winning. There is no winning and everybody has an opinion on everything. So really, you just got to do whatever's best for you, to be honest. But when it comes to
Well,
children, like you said,
and
that is a
well, to
very
finish this thought real quick, because yeah, I mean, I think we're on the money with children. We can
Mhm.
leave the kids alone. Just leave kids alone. We'll be in a good spot. But I think with comedy too, it's a very fine line that they're dancing on, right?
Mhm.
You know, especially when it's stuff that's off the cuff. It's like I'm trying to be funny. That's my number one
Right.
goal here. And a huge element of being funny is grabbing things or elements that have truth within them and you giving a different perspective on the said truth. And again, I'm trying to avoid bringing it back to the specific example because I didn't see the clip. But I do think that there is a level of every comedian is trying to pull something out of, like they're trying to make an association between two ideas
Mhm.
that are so different if we were just to just blatantly talk about them, but they find like this little bridge that connects the two, and the craziness of that connection is what creates humor.
Right. No, I agree. And I'm like, again, I don't take really offense to things because I say offensive things. People get offended a lot by the things that come out of my mouth, even though I try to be respectful as much as I can. But people will just get offended. People just get offended over anything. But I don't know. I think it's because I was also watching another comedian, and she was just like going in on this guy about like what he was wearing, and she was just like, I can't believe you left the house like that, like this is just such an ugly outfit. Just kept going and going. I'm like, okay, we get it, you don't like his outfit. Like I don't know, I feel like it's kind of, in a way, it is bullying. Like, why are you like attacking this guy over the outfit? Like, now this guy's probably gonna have like self like, I think you can do comedy and tell your jokes like about your life and your shit without like attacking the audience. And I think a lot of comedians like attack the audience. Like there was another guy who was like, she was like, "Oh, I was in the bathroom making sure I was like looking good for you." And he was like, "Well, look harder." And it's like, I think it's funny. Like it's a funny comeback.
But
But I'm also,
she might not. Yeah, she might
yeah,
not think
but she
that.
was probably like, damn, like, I think this guy's hot, like this comedian. And I was like trying to be flirty, and he's like, well, you're ugly, you know? And it's like, damn, like, I get it. I get the joke. But I'm like, damn, like we're mean to each other. We are all mean to each other.
Well, especially in the male atmosphere, especially being, raised in the society I was raised in, there's a huge emphasis on, becoming stronger as opposed to weakness, which, if think about, I mean, and I can think of multiple situations of like nicknames people would get ascribed. And if they didn't like it, you kept making fun of them for it until they just let it go. Like once they stopped caring about the joke that you were making, it no longer held any energy. It was no longer funny. There was no more reason to call them it anymore. And I think it's that process of confronting that thing that you are the most afraid of and realizing that it's just not that important as you think it is. And I think by doing that, right, this is so much is boiled into this, the process of letting go, the process of maturing, the process of maybe you got to let go of friends if they're pieces of shit. Like if you looked up this comedian, she's terrible. Yeah, maybe that's not someone you should look up to.
Right.
It can trigger a lot of self introspection, but even more so, it makes you stronger as a person. And I like to think that, maybe not in all situations, but a lot of heckling situations, comedians are providing that service to people who may not have ever experienced that before. And, I'm sure good and bad things happen because of that to and for the comedian or the person involved. But I think that's just a natural process of life that we have to be able to confront and come out stronger on the other side.
Well, I think it also relates to the thing where I was like, sometimes we need to be rejected. I think we really do need to be rejected through life because it leads us to our highest possible timeline. And sometimes people are just rude and annoying in the audience and deserve what they get because they won't shut up. So they're just giving it back to them. So it's like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, your own medicine. But I don't know. I just think like I've just been seeing things just like, on the internet, like everything feels so extra right now. Like everything is like boiling over. And so sometimes I just watch comedy clips. I'm like, wow, I thought this was funny before, but like I just don't think it's funny anymore. Like it's just, I don't see the humor in making someone else feel like shit anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like I get that it's comedy sometimes, but why do we have to put others down for the joke? Like why can't we just tell our stories and be funny? But like, I don't know. I get it. We all do it.
It could be a bad comedian. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
possibility that they're
that's
just a really
true
bad
too.
comedian.
That's true too,
And
because
their
I'm
only
like,
default to being funny is making fun of people.
right, right. And I think that's actually happens with a lot of people in general. I think a lot of people just put others down to lift themselves up. Just how humans are.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. For sure. And I think also with clips and clips in general specifically, you got to really make sure you're not taking them out of context, because like you're saying, that girl who was yelling at the guy for wearing a shirt or a bad shirt, maybe he was being a dick to his wife or something. Maybe he was,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe he was heckling her for the last 30 minutes and then she finally snapped, and now
True.
what you're seeing is that last little segment of it. So it's a very difficult situation if you're not there.
No, you're so right, because I've had drama on the internet because people take my shit out of context and will play like one clip of me. Like there was this girl, her and I were going back and forth, and I was like, can you just stop? Like, you look like a bitch right now. And so it was like this whole thing for so long. And she took that one clip of me saying she was a bitch, and like it just was like all hell broke loose and everybody came to attack me for calling her a bitch. And I'm like, you guys don't even know what happened. She was being a bitch. Like, you guys don't understand what happened. You don't know the whole story. And nobody would let me tell my side. So I was like, all right, well, that's the perception now they have of me, is like, oh, you're a bully. You called her a bitch. I'm like, okay. Nobody really cared about what happened. They just saw that clip. And so, yeah, you're right. Like, you do have to be there. But just for me, I'm really trying to work on not doing that. Like, not being, I could be mean. And so it's hard. This is a lot of work for me, a lot of growth, to not say the shit that I really want to say to people. You know, I got to be a little bit of a
and good
bigger
for you.
person.
I mean, that energy can be directed in a much better and
Right.
useful way. And you
No,
don't
but
have
it's
to be using it in
exactly,
a negative energy
it's
form.
exactly what you said. What did you just say about when you just don't give it life? Like, that's literally what it is. Like, we can be mean to each other and fight and all this, but it's like, it is such wasted energy that you can just take the energy, the energy that they gave you that you feel is negative, just transmute it into positive, and then it just makes you shine brighter. If you just, okay, whatever, dude, like, I really don't care about your opinion, and then you just ignore it, it hurts and it's hard to ignore. And I'm not saying let people walk all over you, because believe me, I don't. I stand up for myself. But at some point, like, when the whole internet is telling you to go kill yourself and like you're schizophrenic, at some point you just have to be like, all right, these people are just like, I don't even know if these people are real. This could be just a bot that TikTok created. I don't know. I'm just gonna ignore it. Maybe just ignore it. Literally,
I've seen those before.
that's the
I've
thing
seen
that
those
really got me
before.
through. My sister was like, you know, when you delete this app, these people don't exist. And I was like, oh, thank you for saying that. Because in my head, I'm thinking all these people are like, oh my God, these people like think of this of me. And like, there's 1 million people who are like, okay, if I delete the app, none of these people exist. I don't know these people in real life. I don't know. They could just be bots. And there was a
Yeah.
lawsuit from San Diego that sued Facebook, Meta, Elon Musk, Google, like all this, for attempting to commit genocide on humanity by creating these bots that would be an echo chamber of, like, you've seen The Social Experiment on Netflix, I'm sure. Like, it was just, that was
Oh
their
yeah.
plan. Their plan was to commit genocide on humanity by just bullying people on the internet for their opinions. So once I realized that and I saw there was proof of a lawsuit, I was like, okay, girl, you got to calm down. This is probably just bots. These are just bots and then I started
Well,
noticing the algorithm.
yeah, and that's essentially what ended up happening that they found out with Russia. You know, back whenever they were saying, "Oh, Trump colluded with Russia, Russia hacked the election 2016, blah 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 blah." Well, in actuality, what was happening was is that Russia was spinning up basically groups on Facebook, and I think mostly Facebook. Maybe there was other ones. But they created these groups where, you know, they were either super pro Trump, super pro Hillary, and they would find the meta talking points and then create these bot interactions. And what would happen is people would stumble across those Facebook groups, see all these other people having similar opinions to them, and then they would progressively make the bots, you know, become more radicalized. And since the other people were already invested in the group, it's like, oh, this is my group. Like, they're getting more radicalized. I'm going to get more radicalized.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what they kind of found, is that they just started propagating this radicalized nature through social media, which is one of if it wasn't so diabolical, it would be genius.
I know. Well, and that's why I say that we have to be aware. We have to use our discernment. And that's like what you said earlier, where you were like, I don't have to listen to everything that this person says. I could just take what resonates. Like, yeah, we have to do that with literally everything. We have to start thinking for ourselves. And the fact that now this information is out there, that they are creating these bots to keep you in this depression and keep you in this loop and keep you fighting, be aware of that. Don't fight. Don't fight with these people. It's like fighting over politics and religion, I think, is the dumbest thing you can do, because like people have their belief system, and unless somebody just wants to learn, there is no point. Like, people tell me all the time, like, I want to debate you. I'm like, no. And they're like, why? You don't think that you can handle it? I'm like, I can. It's just that you don't believe in the things and the proof that I'm going to give you. You don't believe it. You don't believe. So I can't have a debate with someone who doesn't believe in my evidence, because you're just going to dismiss it. You're just going to say that's not true. Like, that those are fake documents or that's doctored or something. So then, okay, then we're not having a debate. You just want to win. You just want to win and be right. And I'm saying, okay, well, this is where my point of view is coming from. And this is why I think this. Okay, well, you're just dumb. Like, okay, well, then we're not having a debate. You just want to argue. You just want to argue to be right. This is stupid. Unless somebody wants to learn and say, okay, can you teach me how? Okay, well, this is why, and this is where the theory comes from, and this is how I got here. They're like, oh, okay, thank you. Like, I appreciate you explaining that. That's a different conversation. But people just want to argue. And then it's like, if you're going to argue with me and bring things that I don't agree with, like I'm not going to believe everything that's in the Bible 100%, then this is not a debate, because I can't debate you when you believe that the ultimate truth is the Bible and I don't believe that the ultimate truth is the Bible. Then we're not on the same page. This doesn't make sense to talk about, because your belief system is 100% in this and mine is not. So your weapon of choice is like, it's not getting us anywhere. Like there's a wall between us here. It's just, we're not going to break through. We're not going to break through. Yeah, there's no progress. It's literally just talking in circles of like, I'm right, you're wrong. Okay, just let it go.
Which is interesting at some level of, I mean, I guess it depends on what the conversation is, but being right about, I guess, factual items, especially the technology advancements that are occurring. Because if you take a look at anything, papers, videos, audio, all of that can now be doctored.
Exactly.
We are literally at the point where within, I mean, easily within a couple of years, maybe a year, I guess we're technically there, but hypothetically within a year, you will not be able to trust one piece of thing on the internet, because technology will be so good. Anybody's voice, anybody's picture, a video of anybody, a written word, a document that supposedly came from the CIA could have been created in an AI generated format.
Exactly.
What do you do with that? Well, what do we even do with that if there's literally nothing on the internet that we can trust?
Well, I do think that that's the place we're at right now. And I think the point of that is for us to awaken to the fact that not everything is what it seems. I think, like, did you watch the new Black Mirror episode, season 5, episode 1, Jonah's Awful?
No, I did not. But
oh my God. Everybody is.
Because I saw it. I saw it on Netflix, and whenever I saw it, I was like, I should probably watch this. But then I think it was late at night, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this off. I'm going to wait till somebody tells me about it.
Well, here it is. No, everybody has been messaging me like, please watch this episode and make a video on it. But yeah, it's pretty much like we live in a quantum computer, and like there's different realities and different versions of us.
Right, don't give away the story.
Oh my gosh! Well,
don't give away the story.
It's really good.
Don't spoil it.
It's really good. Watch it.
Come on.
Well, okay. It's exactly what's happening with us.
5 or 6?
Oh shit! Is it
season 6?
Season 6? Oh no! I just made a video about it. I need to make sure I fix that. Archangel? What?
Oh no, it's not Archangel. That's an old one. That's an old one. Season 6. I don't think it has a title. Archangel, I think, is a different episode.
No, well, it should be Joan is Awful. That's the title.
Joan is Awful?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it, Joan. Why'd you have to be so awful? Come on, Joni. I'll be able to find it.
I don't know what, I thought it was season 5.
It's reinventing itself. Black Mirror season 6 returns June 15th.
Season 6, episode 1, yeah.
And it will be the most unpredictable season yet. Well, you wait to see how wild and weird things get. Why not watch the trailer right now? Click this button. Give me your eyeballs. Give me your views. Yeah, it's season 6, but I'm not plugging it. I guess
it was. It was a pretty good episode for sure. I've only watched a few episodes of Black Mirror, but that was a really good one because I was like, that's what we're living in right now. That's our reality. I don't know why I started talking about that. What were we talking about before?
Check it out. I don't know, but I'm thinking about how I don't think you finished the story about how you got banned the last time. Was it just that it ended, or was there like a specific video?
Oh my God. Well, I had, like I said, a billion violations. Literally, I don't know how I survived as long as I did. No, I just kept getting violations. Like once I switched my content to more of conspiracy theories and like, going down that route, I started getting banned a lot because like TikTok was not okay with that stuff. Like a lot of like everybody just started getting banned. Everybody, like nobody even had anything wrong, and they would just get banned for nudity. They would get banned for like if you were just talking about the truth of our history, like everybody was just getting banned left and right. All the what you would call the truth seekers or truth speakers or whatever, like back then, everybody was getting their shit banned. So everybody had account warnings. It was like insane on TikTok. And so I had an account warning and kept saying like, you're going to lose your account. You're going to lose your account. And I was just like, I don't know like what is okay and what's not. Like to me, I'm like reporting on something that happened in China, like the heat wave in China that people are like dying from how hot it was. And they gave me a violation. I'm like, okay, I'm not allowed to talk about like anything. Like I couldn't talk about
You can't
anything.
talk bad about China, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You can't
Well,
talk bad about China.
I was
China's
definitely,
perfect.
I was
There's
not,
nothing wrong with China.
I was talking about
China's
how
amazing.
hot it was. And
Everybody loves China.
it was literally
Yeah, but nobody died.
there was literally
No,
like
it's a perfect temperature in
videos
China.
from
You're wrong.
the Chinese side of TikTok, which by the way, a lot of people like to talk shit on TikTok and say like, well, it's a Chinese app. What did you expect? And I'm like, okay, let me make something very clear. The American version, the American portion of TikTok was actually bought out by a company called ByteDance that is in Texas. And actually we have American moderators watching our stuff. I actually have a friend that was a moderator, tells me all of the insides in and out of it. TikTok was also under fire because they were saving underage content that would get uploaded. Like these poor people, these moderators for TikTok, they had to go through and watch like the most horrible shit and know if it was okay or not. And like my shit's getting banned when I'm like exposing the truth, and they're seeing like minors. Yeah, it was some fuck. It was very psychologically
You know the
fucked up.
big you know the big yeah, you know the big thing that happened with TikTok was that bill that they passed to be able to ban TikTok. The whole purpose of that was so that the government now has the authority to be able to ban any app on the App Store that they desire or deem as a quote unquote endangerment to the population. It was a big
But
control grab.
I feel like they were already doing that. Like they controlled everything. I think that like we're so shocked, like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. It's like they were gonna do it and they were doing it anyways. They were just hiding it and not labeling it. They were doing it anyway. They were banning me, they were silencing me. We didn't have freedom of speech. I couldn't say the things I was saying. I have so many violations on Instagram as well, which is why I got demonetized. Like it doesn't you think like, okay, there's nothing wrong with this. This is actual proof. I have the proof. The lawsuit one, the one where I showed the lawsuit and I showed the documents, committing genocide against humanity with these bots. I got banned for that one. I mean, I was getting banned for anything that I was exposing. They were banning me. So finally, I had so many violations against me that they just took my page down completely. And I was like, oh my God, I had a feeling it was coming because hello, how could it not? I had so many violations. Um, but it lasted really long. And so it got taken down on October, October. I got it back in December. So it was down for like 3 months. And I was just like, damn, all right, well, let's start again. And so I just had other ones. And then somehow, well, that's a whole other story, but I manifested it back and now it's back and I don't have any warnings. And now that I don't like, now that it's like the norm to talk about the stuff I talk about, I don't get any violations, thank God. But I'm also not like all crazy on there and being like, I was crazy with my shit. I was like, damn, no wonder people hated me. I really did say some crazy shit. But like, I mean, I believe it. But I was so sure of myself because I think everybody should just speak of like they are sure of themselves because that is your truth. If you're speaking your ultimate truth, you should be sure of it. And so I was sure of my truth. I'm like, this is the truth. This is my truth. And that's it. And then people were like, no, it's not. And I'm like, well, this is what I'm experiencing. So I'm going to talk about it. Like, make your own page and talk about your shit. Build
Well,
your
that's
audience.
powerful. I mean, it's powerful to lean into your truth, to lean into that confidence. And I think that leaning into that power can trigger a lot of people very easily.
Yeah. People don't like to see people who like don't care about their opinion. They get very you should care. And I'm
Well, I
like, but I
think
don't.
even the confidence, I think the way words are delivered can be very triggering to people.
Yeah.
Like a big example that I always think of is like Andrew Tate, for instance. You know, I think a lot of his, I'm not going to get into the general content that he actually talks about because some of it's good, some of it's questionable. But I think what really triggers a lot of people is like the confidence that he says everything with. I think that the way he delivers his message can be very triggering to people who haven't done well with authority in the past. Maybe they have a bad relationship with somebody who spoke confidently. And I think that that's where that can come from. At least that's my interpretation of it, is that once you're speaking from a place of pure confidence, a lot of people get triggered by that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of similar to what we were just saying about the comedy thing. It's like you don't know what's going to trigger people because you don't know their experience. So you kind of just you're just living your experience, and you're just talking, but then it's like triggering this other person. So you can't win. You can't please everybody. But I'm definitely getting better at how I deliver it. My dad used to always say this. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe some people just don't hear me when I say it nicely. Because it's true. Like if you are just nice, like people just they don't want to listen to you. And so you literally have to come and like be a fucking bitch. And especially because I'm a woman, I literally have a video where I was like, y'all need a man to say it. Y'all only listen when a man says it. So here you go. Let me show you all the clips of all these men who are highly regarded saying the same fucking shit that I'm saying, but because it's coming out of a man's mouth, now you're okay with it. Now there's proof. Oh, well, there's this person who had this article. Like when people are like, what's your sources? Where's your, I'm like, I can write a book right now and that will be my source. Like you guys are acting like it's so fucking difficult to write an article, to write a thesis. Like it's so hard to like get a book club. Anybody.
What the universe is telling Clayton is that after that happens 3 times in a row, that's our sign that it's our time to wrap up.
Time to wrap it up.
Yeah. So Alex, thank you so much for being here. This was amazing. Also, I got to give a shout out. I brought his name up. The guy who recommended you, because I don't think I saw any of your stuff before. George Do. I'm going to leave his last name out of it because it's just for privacy sakes. I don't know if he wants to. We'll call him George Dooch. Let's say Dooch. There's a couple more syllables there. George Dooch told me to reach out to you.
I don't know.
Thank you for being here. I had a pleasure. This was a great conversation.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It was fun. And you taught me a little bit about this Riverside app. So now I can start getting into it a little more. And had a great conversation. It was fun. And we found out some new information about this whole like time thing. That's going to be so much fun to talk about.
Yeah. So guys, definitely go click my affiliate link for Riverside if you're down with that plug. No, but Alex, I always leave this time open for my guests, because if you have anything that you would like to plug, I know you sent me a bunch of your links, which will be down in the show notes below, whether it was like your I forget what they were, but it might have been like your TikTok and YouTube. But if you have any last words to the audience, this is your space to speak directly to them. Plug your stuff and plug any other messages that you have for them.
Okay, well, guys, if you enjoyed anything of what I had to say, go check out my stuff. alexserves.com. I think it has all my links on there. It has my merch. And then Alex Serves on YouTube, on Instagram, and then TikTok is Alex Serves T or Alex Serves. There's so many different ones. Just look up Alex Serves and you'll find my stuff. But yeah, it was fun. And hopefully I helped you guys, I don't know, think. That's really all I don't have all the answers. I just have the questions, and I just want to help more people have more questions. I think more people need to question more things. And I think we need to start using our brain more. We only access about 10% of our brain, and we really need to unlock more. So I think just tapping into consciousness, and it all starts with questioning. Question everything, and then start awakening to the endless possibilities, and all of that's been hidden from us. And then remember who you are, and then you're a powerful being, and then you create your own reality, and it's so much fun after you get over the depression. Because it gets a little depressing when you get a little depressed when you find out, like when your eyes are open, you're like, oh shit, like this is bad. And then you're like, okay, now let's move on.
Oh, true words have never been spoken. Alex, thank you so much for being on here.
Thank
guys,
you.
If in the next 5 to 10 years the calendar shifts from the 1260 to 1320, you'll know that Alex had her hand in that.
Yes. I'm ready
for it. I'm already doing it.
Yeah.
Time is art.
Yeah,
that actually might be my new saying.
That
might be my new saying, that time is art. I love it.
I love that.
I love it.
I'm so happy you found that. Look at that, the universe bringing us new downloads.
That's been something that's been right on me for a bit. I wanted to plug Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Way. You got to check that out. The Creative Way and The War of Art, those two books, they've been ripping me apart being a content creator. And just listen, honestly, I think that might be, I got to plug those two books one more time, because guys, if you're listening to this, we're literally shifting into the frequency where art is time. Art is going to be more valuable to not only you, but the general collective as a whole. So please, if you are a human being with ears and listening to this, get a copy of The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, and then also grab The Creative Way by Rick Rubin. Those I will, yes, I'm not going to overhype them, but yes, just everything. Yes. So
awesome.
One more time, Alex Serve, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Guys, go check out all of her links below. If you don't, we will have a problem, and we will talk about that problem whenever we see each other in the sixth dimension.
Yeah, exactly.